All right, let's talk about analytics. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how we can take a total mess of raw information and turn it into something clear, something powerful that actually helps us make better decisions. So, how do we get from all that data to a smart decision? Let's dive in.
So this is really the question that kicks the whole thing off, right? I mean, we are all swimming in an ocean of information. Numbers, stats, you name it. How on earth do we find the signal in all that noise? How do we take that raw data and shape it into a story that actually makes sense? Well, this is the exact problem that analytics was born to solve. And boom, here's our answer. Analytics, it isn't just about crunching numbers. It's a whole process. Think of yourself as part detective, part translator, and part storyteller. First, you're the detective, discovering these hidden patterns in the data. Then, you're the translator, figuring out what those patterns actually mean. And finally, you're the storyteller, communicating those insights in a way that helps people make smarter choices. The key thing here is that data is just the raw material. Analytics is the factory that turns it into something truly valuable. Okay, so to get through this process without getting totally lost, you need a map. And in the world of analytics, our map is called the Analytics Lifecycle. It's this reliable, step-by-step guide that pretty much guarantees we can get from a simple question to a powerful insight every single time. This map, this path, breaks our entire journey down into 4 really clear stages. And you know what? Pretty much every successful analytics project follows these steps. To make this feel real, let's imagine we're a big streaming service trying to figure out what new TV show to make. They'd follow this exact path, so let's walk through it. First things first, you have to ask a super sharp, specific question. Not something vague like, hey, what show should we make? No way. It has to be something really focused, like, what specific type of science fiction series are our subscribers most likely to binge watch all the way to the end? See, that's a crystal clear destination. Okay, so once you have that killer question, it's time to gather the data. For our streaming service, this means collecting viewing histories, seeing which shows people finish and which ones they ditch halfway through. They might even track social media buzz. Now, the keywords here are relevant and reliable. It's that old saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. You absolutely can't use bad data and expect to find a good answer. And now we get to the heart of the adventure, the analysis. This is where the magic happens. This is where you dig into all that data you collected and you start looking for those hidden patterns. And maybe our streaming service discovers that shows with really complex world building and strong female leads have the absolute highest completion rates. That's the aha moment. That's where the story starts to take shape. Finally, and this is so important, a discovery is totally useless if it just stays hidden on your computer. You don't just hand over a spreadsheet to the boss. No. You build a compelling story, and you back it up with data. You say, look, our audience has a massive, underserved appetite for this kind of sci-fi drama, and here's the data that proves it. A story like that is what gets the show greenlit. So we have our map, the life cycle, but every good explorer also needs a toolkit, right? Well, in analytics, our toolkit is all the different techniques we use to actually analyze the data. Let's take a look at a few of the most important ones. We can pretty much group these tools by the type of question they answer. So, descriptive analytics, that's like looking in the rearview mirror. It tells our streaming service which shows were popular last year. Diagnostic analytics is like the mechanic popping the hood to figure out why they were popular. Was it the cast, the genre? And then there's predictive analytics. That's like the weather forecast, using all that past data to predict what kind of show will be a hit next year. And this slide really nails the 2 most common ways we look at data. Descriptive analytics gives you this perfectly clear picture of the past, like a final sales report. It's certain. But predictive analytics, that uses history to make a really educated guess about the future. For our streaming service, this is literally the engine that powers their recommendation algorithm, suggesting your next favorite show. So one gives you certainty about what happened, and the other gives you a probability of what might happen next. All right, so let's wrap this up with a quick checklist. First, remember that analytics is the entire journey from raw data to a smart decision. Second, the life cycle is your trusty map, guiding you through those 4 key steps. And finally, the techniques. Those are the powerful tools you use to explore the data and find the answers you're looking for. And that really brings us to the end. We've given you the map, the life cycle, and a peek into the basic toolkit. So now, the only question left is the one that starts every great analysis in the first place. What do you want to find out? Because the data is out there, just waiting for you to discover its stories.